Hello, and welcome to this week's episode of the Efiko podcast. We are happy to have you back for today's episode. Today, we have a message from Miss T, who is a senior manager in an Abuja-based school. She writes to us seeking advice about managing relationships with people around her, especially when the people are really difficult to get along with. For our new listeners, the Efiko podcast is a community of professionals, business owners, and generally people looking to learn and improve in their work, business, and life. My name is Omagbishe Baro, and I am your online Efiko. Efiko is a Nigerian slang from the 1990s that means a nerd, somebody who solves your problems. Before we try to solve the problems of Miss T today, let's take a word from our sponsors.
$83%.
83%? Is that your score on your promotion exam?
No, but if I can save 83% of the cost of newspapers, I imagine I will get a promotion.
How? By not buying newspapers for the office anymore?
No, by switching to the full digital version from the e-paper vendor. It costs up to 83% less and gives you even greater value.
So I can switch my entire organization to the e-paper vendor?
It's simple. Call the e-paper vendor on 0703 7699479 or visit www.bebetterbooks.biz to enjoy the huge cost savings on your favorite Nigerian newspapers.
It's unbelievable, but true. I am switching to the e-paper vendor.
Yes, you can get the full digital version of your favorite Nigerian newspapers from the e-paper vendor by calling +234 809 536 8967 or by visiting www.epapervendor.com. Feel free to sign up for a free 1-week trial when you do so. Many large organizations and professionals have made the switch to the e-paper vendor, and so should you. So let's try to respond to Miss T from Abuja, and I will do this by creating a bit of context first. You see, what you really need to manage difficult relationships and people is a great deal of emotional intelligence, which we have found contributes up to 85% towards your success. A very important skill that emotionally intelligent people have is their ability to manage difficult people and difficult relationships. You see, this requires a great amount of skill and effort, but it must first begin with a decision and a conviction and a consciousness that those people and relationships are valuable enough to warrant the effort. So what am I saying? It is important to be civil and respectful to everyone. But if the other person responds negatively to your civility, you then have to decide if the battle to save the relationship is worth it. I am not advocating that you should give up too easily either. And if and when you do give up, you should remember our common humanity and still maintain a compassionate and graceful disposition towards such people. That's what it takes to be a high-road, emotionally intelligent person. In my experience, what we typically have is difficult relationships and not difficult people. Because many times these difficulties actually arise because, for example, of the different personality types and the different preferences and dispositions that different people have. Beyond personality differences, though, it is quite possible that you face difficult situations, like colleagues who are threatened by your skills and your expertise, superiors who are unwilling to acknowledge your contributions, or even subordinates who try to undermine your leadership. The truth is that these are difficult situations, but they are not fatal blows or chronic illnesses that will destroy you or that should be endured forever. With the right approach and skills, you can heal and transform these circumstances so that you can indeed lead a healthier life. So I'm going to share with you, Miss T and all our listeners, a powerful approach that I have learned and I have tried to put into practice in healing some challenging relationships that I have had in my career. Thankfully, they have not been so many. Perhaps because I am a conflict avoider, but we'll talk about that perhaps some other time. The approach is called the 3 R's. R for redirection, R for reciprocity, and R for rationality. And these 3 R's can help you to turn your rivalries into your collaborators. As you reflect on the 3 R's, remember them: redirect, reciprocate, and rationality. And perhaps think about people who fall into those different categories that I described earlier. Let's pause and we will come back shortly to give you some more guidance on how to apply these 3 R's. In the meantime, let's take a word from our sponsors.
83%, 83%, 83%.
83%? Is that your score on your promotion exam?
No, but if I can save 83% of the cost of newspapers, I imagine I will get a promotion.
How? By not buying newspapers for the office anymore?
No, by switching to the full digital version from the e-paper vendor. It costs up to 83% less and gives you even greater value.
So I can switch my entire organization to the e-paper vendor?
It's simple. Call the e-paper vendor on 0703 7699479 or visit www.bebetterbooks.biz to enjoy the huge cost savings on your favorite Nigerian newspapers.
It's unbelievable, but true. I am switching to the e-paper vendor.
Remember to get your 1-week free trial of the e-paper vendor by calling 234-809-536-8967 or by visiting www.epapervendor.com. The only way to apply the 3 R's is to engage directly with the other person. It requires a recognition that there is a challenge and a great amount of emotional intelligence to step up and take responsibility for reaching out to resolve the challenge. Bottling things up is completely inappropriate and does not amount to emotional intelligence. Remember, the 3 R's are redirection, reciprocity, and rationality. So, Miss T and everybody else who is interested, let's explore them in practice, one after the other. Redirection is about directing the person's anger to a source that is beyond both of you. Let's say, for example, the challenges we face working together is because of the way this team was set up in the first place. You see, what you've done with that statement is to redirect the person. So rather than saying that the reason why we're not getting along is because you don't like me, you have a bad attitude, or whatever it is, you redirect and you engage the person and you say, the challenges that we are facing working together is because of the way this team was set up in the first place. Now, once you do this, you can then look for common ground. And when you find that common ground, you apply the principle of common ground to it. To find the one thing that both of you agree on, and you give it 100%. If, for example, building on this case study, both of you agree that the way the team was set up is a problem, then rather than fighting each other all the time, you will then focus all your energy on trying to rejig the structure of the team to make it work. This example actually happened to me, and it certainly worked. The second R, reciprocity, is about offering something to the other person without demanding anything in return. It's really about baking a larger cake so that everyone who is conflicted can get a bigger piece of the cake rather than fighting over the small cake. For example, what is that skill that you possess that makes your boss or your colleagues feel threatened? Perhaps you should find a non-confrontational way of sharing that skill with that person or with other people who he can then learn from, if, for example, that person is too proud to learn from you. You see, by doing this, you have addressed the root cause of the problem in a very intelligent way. Find your rival's pain point and solve it. The final R, rationality, is focused on showing the person the benefit of your collaboration. Show them what the team and both of you have lost and how much more you can gain by collaborating. It's often a tricky conversation, and if either of your egos allow it to happen, then get someone else to mediate and moderate the conversation. This person can coach both of you to the same answer without prescribing. You too can learn to be such a mediator and to help others to use these techniques of rationality when they are in difficult relationships. It's really about just sitting down and rationalizing what you stand to lose and rationalizing the enormity of what you stand to gain if only you could sit together and collaborate. I really believe that every human being is valuable. So, civility and respect should be the basis of all your relationships. However, because we are human, from time to time things may get sour. And when and if they do get sour, you can employ the 3 R's of redirection, reciprocity, and rationality to flavor and to sweeten your relationships again. I hope, Miss T, that you found these thoughts on the 3 R's useful and that you can apply them to transform some of those challenging relationships that you are in. If you would like to ask questions regarding your personal, professional, or organizational development and have them discussed in a professional way for the benefit of a larger audience on this program, then please send us an email to questions@onlineefiko.com, or even more popularly, WhatsApp message on +234 818 195 6161. If you have enjoyed this episode and you would like to keep listening and learning with us, please visit www.onlineefiko.com and click on the podcast and subscribe to the podcast. You can also take your time to go back and listen to some of our old episodes. We've got over 50 old episodes available on the onlineefiko.com, and enjoy some of the amazing content that is available there to build you on a personal and an organizational level. Until next time, my name is Omagbishe Baro, and I am, as always, your online Efiko.